All right, you guys, how does cooking, eating, and talking about delicious food for a living sound? Pretty good,
Amazing.
right? Amazing. Yeah, well, one lucky, extremely talented woman happens to call that her job. That's her reality. Candice Macalino, she is a pro foodie and the marketing events manager for Nature's Path and Que Pasa. And I don't even think I've told you this yet, but she happens to be whipping up one of my personal favorite dishes ever.
Ooh,
Ever.
really? Okay, no pressure.
High expectations, just saying. No, I've smelt what you were whipping up, and it smells amazing. So
Awesome.
you guys ready? Are you guys hungry?
Awesome.
Are you guys ready to have Candice tell you everything about her delicious Que Pasa Tortilla Soup? All right, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much. Well, hello, good afternoon. Well, who's here excited about organics? Who's here is excited about Mexican food? Who's excited about eating? Yes, you're gonna do all of that here today. So my name is Candice Macalino. I'm the marketing events manager at Que Pasa and Nature's Path. And I have the privilege of combining all my favorite things of cooking, eating, and promoting organic food. And I actually have a cooking blog that I started back in 2010, really a journey. It's called Candice's Casina, a journey for me to learn about different food, cultures, and traditions through food, because I think food is a universal language that we can all relate to. And today we're talking about Mexican food. So we are going to be making a spicy Que Pasa tortilla soup, perfect for those cold, rainy days that we are having right now, that you can cuddle up and cozy up to. But it is vegan, gluten-free, and organic. How does that sound? Awesome. Okay, great. So a little bit about Que Pasa. So who has had Que Pasa chips before? Oh wow, that's a great, okay. So the great thing about Que Pasa, it's a local company. We've welcomed it to the Nature's Path family in 2012, and really excited about that. And so we have now a more variety in terms of our snacking options. Our Que Pasa chips are made in Richmond, so it's still locally owned and operated. Nature's Path is still locally owned and operated. And we're still very fiercely focused on providing organic, certified non-GMO, project verified foods. Okay, so I'm gonna just dive right into the recipe. Spicy Que Pasa tortilla soup. For those who likes to follow recipes, or who likes to do kind of like whatever's in the pantry type of thing? Who likes to follow recipes? Who likes to just like whip stuff, whatever's in your cupboard? I really admire you guys, because I can't do that. I actually rely on a recipe, and reading a recipe is actually really important. It's making sure that you create that habit, for those who do rely on recipes, that you have all the necessary ingredients, the equipment, because you don't want to be like me. I was making a cheesecake. I didn't have a food processor, and I had all these graham crackers I had to crumble up. So I did it by hand. It's okay, with a wooden rolling pin. Took me a lot longer, but I had guests arriving in an hour. So you don't want to be caught in a pinch. So read the recipe in thorough before you start. Okay, so we are going to make this delicious soup that is really easy. It's a one-pot wonder. The great thing about that, it's less dishes to have to wash. We're going to start off with our onions. It's one onion. Does anybody have tips in terms of how to kind of avoid those tears? Anybody? Wear a mask, yes. No, I don't think so. Your tears are gonna come out. A couple of my tips is that I actually pop my onion in the fridge. If you remember, you're like, I'm gonna make the soup in about an hour, pop it in the fridge, and it should avoid some tears. Or, if you don't have time, I just cut the onion in half, take out the skin, and then put it in some room temperature water. It should avoid those tears. And I put this in the fridge, so hopefully I don't have tears for you today. But if I do, it's worth it. So how I like to cut, I just want to preface that I'm a foodie. I'm not a trained chef, so please do not judge me on my knife skills, but I'll try my best. So how I like to cut my onions, I cut it in half, make sure that the edge end part is intact, and then we're just going to cut it in dices. So we do horizontally, like so. And then we're gonna go vertically, and then you get these really nice dice pieces from it. You'll see in a minute. So make sure that your fingers do not get caught while you're cutting through the onion. Look, voila! Nice dice pieces. So you just want it a little bit of a medium dice, because I like my soups a little chunky. So I'm gonna turn on the heat. So we want it to heat up for about a medium heat, and I don't like to put my olive oil on yet. I'll put it on when my pot is hot, nice and hot, because you don't want your oil to be smoking when you're ready to put your aromatics. Okay, let that heat up a little bit. So once we get that done, then we want 2 cloves of garlic. And how I like to kind of take my garlic skin off is that I take a clove, this is a big one, and just do the heel of your palm and squish it down and get the stresses of the day out on your garlic. There. And then the whole skin just pops out. It's kind of nice. And I like to have a little garbage bowl there handy so that I'm not trying to like go back and forth to the garbage bin. And then you just want to just rough chop, and then we're going to be a mince. And I have this fork here. Is this a little handy trick. If say you're just doing 1 clove of garlic and you just want to mince it up, you can use the tines of a fork and just kind of smush it down, and you'll find, and you just go different directions, that you actually can get minced garlic out of it. You don't have to like worry about going back and forth with your knife. And yeah, so let me do some of this. I'll just mince up some garlic for you. Or if you don't mind just going back and forth with your knife, you can do that too. You can do that at the end. But I have some prepped garlic here ready for us. Let's see how we're doing with this. Oh, it's nice and hot. So 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Get that heated. So I like making the soup. You know, you can make this ahead of time. Say if, you know, it's a nice for lunches the next day or for the week. You can portion it out, or if you want to have a, you know, like a nice easy weekend dinner, invite some friends over, entertain. It's also affordable. The ingredients that we have here, it's not going to break the bank. So what we're going to do is we're going to saute 1 medium onion. So I'm going to add the onion in there. Sweat it out a little bit. Another tip that I do is I add a little pinch of salt. It kind of helps the take out the water, the moisture from the onion, and also helps to cook it down quicker. So sweat it out a little bit. And aromatics is really key to making a soup, especially if you're making a soup from scratch. It helps to build that base foundation flavor. So Mexican food, it's usually onion, garlic, and tomatoes or bell peppers. So today we're going to be onion, garlic, and our red bell pepper. And for the French, they like to call it mirepoix. So they have the holy trinity of celery, I think there is onion, and carrots. So different, like I said, different cultures have different ways of cooking, but it's all very similar. The food is awesome and delicious, and everybody loves it. So that's sweating out a little bit, and we're going to do 2 cloves of garlic, minced garlic. And you don't want to burn your garlic because that will add a little bit of bitterness. So make sure that you're watching out. This is really hot. I'm going to turn this down just a tad. There we go. Sweat that out. So once that's nice and sauteed, we're going to add our spices. So to make this tortilla soup nice and Mexican, we're going to add a teaspoon of cumin. Who likes using spices in their dishes? Do you guys use cumin at all? Yeah, cumin's delicious. It's so, you just know it's so indigenous to like Mexican food, Indian food. It has like, oh my gosh, it packs a lot of flavor and just a little pinch of cumin. It's peppery. And I was just reading up about it, is that cumin was, back in Egyptian, it was like 5,000 years ago, they actually found cumin in the Egyptian tombs. They use it for mummification. Isn't that amazing? Just a little fun factoid. So we have 1 teaspoon of cumin. So we're gonna, like I said, we're building our flavor base for our soup. So the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of chili. So I do not want to burn our taste buds today, so I'm gonna scale it back just a tad, and you can always add more to your taste. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Especially because the spices, I just bought this the other day, so it's really fresh. But make sure that you label your spices the date, because your spices do tend to lose its flavor over time. You could ask my husband, sometimes I think I have spices there that's like older than our cat. So 12 years old, it's not good. So make sure you date your spices. So now that we have that nice and toasty, we're gonna add our 4 cups of organic vegetable gluten-free stock. Make sure you read the labels, because some stocks actually have wheat in it. So for those who are celiac or living a gluten-free lifestyle, be a label detective, make sure that you're reading the ingredients. I know we like to promote here at Nature's Path and Que Pasa, so you eat organic, especially if you have a food allergy, because organic is a clean way of eating, and also it avoids any sort of synthetic pesticides, as well as chemicals or herbicides that could be potentially used in your ingredients, and you don't want to ingest that. Does anybody know what GMO stands for? Genetically modified organisms, yes. Yes, especially when you're using certain ingredients that are more GMO risk ingredients, and that is corn and soy. Try your best if you can to look for organic. 90% of all corn and soy in North America are genetically modified ingredients. So just a little tip there. Our Que Pasa chips are made with certified gluten-free, and project verified corn, so that you know that you're eating ingredients that are not riddled with those artificial ingredients and pesticides and that stuff that you don't want to be in your diet. So that once you have your stock in there, that's 4 cups. I find that 4 cups is about 1 Tetra Pak of vegetable stock. And so let that stir, and then we're going to also add black beans. This will add some nice heartiness to your soup. Rinsed and drain. Does anybody know why you'd like to rinse and drain your canned beans or legumes? Yes? That's right. It's, the lady in the front said it also takes out the salt. Sometimes some beans have added salt. It also takes out some of that starchiness. It just happens to just develop, and maybe even at times that metallic flavor that you find in your canned goods. So it's nice to bring out the flavors of truly the ingredient, which is the black beans. So we have 1 can of black beans, and we're gonna have 1 cup of organic sweet corn. This is frozen. I mean, obviously corn's not in season right now, but this soup can be done all year round. You can get fresh organic corn during the summer. That would be awesome. So you don't need to thaw it out. I just put some frozen corn right into the soup and just mix it all around. And we're going to let that come to a boil. And then once that comes to a boil, we're going to let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. So let me just put a lid. Make sure you use a nice heavy pot, because there's a lot of ingredients in here, and you want to make sure that the pot's able to handle the heat as well. So let that simmer and boil for another 15 minutes. And so while I do that, I'm going to, oh, look at me. I forgot one of our key ingredients, bell peppers. You want to add this. The great thing about this is that you can switch it up. You can put zucchini, you can put red bell peppers, or green bell peppers. I'm putting red. It'll add a nice sweetness to our soup. Let that cook. Make sure I don't miss any other ingredients. Okay, great, I didn't. Put that back on. Now we're going to work on our toppings. Oh my gosh, tortilla soups, it's all about the toppings. So we are making it vegan, so we're doing some avocado. Another fun tip, so if you're looking for ripe avocado in your grocery store, I just learned this, I think I was watching a cooking show. You know how there's a little bit of a stem there? You can pull out that stem, and you find that it's overripe, it will be brown. But if you open it and it's green, it's still ripe. So just a little tip for you to see whether or not your avocado is ripe or not, or overripe. You don't want it overripe. Actually, when I was growing up, my mom, this is in Singapore, my mom, our heritage is Filipino. I never knew you could actually eat avocado savory. We always ate it as a dessert. So we would get these really ripe avocados, and she'd mix it up with some soup and sugar, and it was like this pudding. Oh, it's delicious. So if you want to know what to do with your ripe avocado in your fridge, that's one thing. You can make it a dessert. So there we go. And a way to avoid browning, I just squeeze a little lime. And then what we can do is, I just cut it in half. And then you can peel out the skin. Or if you have a spoon, even better, you can just scoop it out. Okay, and so we're gonna cut this up. This is gonna be our topping for our tortilla soup. This is nice and ripe, actually. Add some creaminess as well. Put that all there. And we're also gonna top it off with some cilantro parsley. I know there's a divide because actually, unfortunately, I've always tried to love cilantro, but I'm not a fan. Who's a fan of cilantro? Okay, so I'm outnumbered. All right, so we're gonna put some cilantro in your tasting soups today. I'm gonna cut up some cilantro for you. But you can also sub it with parsley if you wanted. I have some parsley for those who are not a cilantro fan like me, but cilantro is one of those ingredients that you either love it or you hate it. I don't love it, unfortunately, but it does add a lot of flavor to your dishes. So just dice it up. This is gonna be our nice topping. But for those who are open to having your soup non-vegan, I like a little dollop of sour cream or some cheese. That's like a nice, delicious, hearty meal all in itself. I have some right here, so we can add some sour cream as well as some grated cheese to our soup. So we'll just cut that up, our cilantro, and then see how our soup's doing. Nice, so I'm gonna just reduce that down just a tad. So this is what's happening right now with our soup. It's marinating all of those ingredients, making it more intense, more delicious, and more yummy for you guys to all try in a moment here. And once that's done, then we're gonna top it off even with our tortilla chips. So I failed to mention that I was gonna do a fun little quiz at the end to give out some product, just to make sure that you're paying attention, and just some fun facts that you could retain after this demo. So Que Pasa, like I said, has been welcomed by the Nature's Path family back in 2012, but it's been local since 1983. So it's a local company. We still manufacture a lot of our Que Pasa chips in Richmond. What we do is we take the whole corn grain, and we grind it up between volcanic lava rocks. So that making sure that it's a unique method of actually making tortillas. So we grind up the corn and it becomes this masa. So masa is really the dough where you add a little bit of water, a little bit of lime, it rolls it up, and it becomes these tortilla shells. And then we cook it, we bake it, and then we cut it up, and then we fry it in organic oil, and then it becomes these chips. But because of that lava rock, how it grinds up that whole grain of corn, it adds that nice, delicious texture that you'll find. Actually, we have a booth just down the aisle there. It's just like, you can taste certain elements of the corn. It's still there. It's not the smooth texture that some tortilla chips have. I mean, this just adds a nice crunch to your meals, or just to your salsa that you're having. And another thing, so we have flavors. We have blue corn chips, is made out of blue corn, yellow obviously, and then we have red. The reason there's no red corn, but we mix it with some beet juice. That's why it has that color. And then we also have a white corn, which is non-salted. And new to the Que Pasa lineup is that we have these nice snacking chips. They're packed with superfood. So we have 3 flavors. This one here is the purple corn, and the reason why it's packed with superfood is because it's got quinoa and chia in this. And then for our second one here, we have heritage. We have, this one here is the ancient grain rather. It's got chia seeds, quinoa, amaranth. This is delicious. This is my favorite. It's the black bean, but the star here in this black bean, it's got chipotle, kale, and spinach. It's delicious. And it's got that kick. I like spice, so these are the 3 new flavors that we have. So it's available at Whole Foods, Save On Foods, Choices. Okay, so now that soup's cooking. Now we're gonna add, so it asks for the recipe, it says a cup of salsa, but if you don't have salsa, so I usually always have some diced canned tomatoes in my cupboard, so just a cup of that is fine. So we'll just add some of that in there. This will add, again, more richness and sweetness to your soup. And for those who cook with tomato, I find it just a little pinch of brown sugar just adds, it balances out the acidity of tomatoes and also enhances the sweetness of the natural sweetness from the tomatoes itself. So I'm just gonna add a little pinch of brown sugar in there. You don't have to. I know it sounds strange. Why would you add brown sugar in tortilla soup? But I find it actually does bring out the flavors of all the delicious vegetables that we have here, the corn, the black bean, the red bell peppers, and the tomatoes. So once that's done, we're just gonna keep stirring. And we're about there, we're almost done. And I'm just gonna season it with salt and pepper. It's all to taste, but I'm just gonna add a little bit. This is some sea salt. This is fresh cracked pepper. Always use fresh cracked pepper. More flavor this way. Just stir that all up. And if you want to make it a little thick, who loves to eat chips and you find at the bottom of the bag there's all these crumblies, right? So what do you do with all those crumblies? Well, the best thing is you can make it into tortilla soup. You just top it in as before you serve it, or you can actually use it to thicken up soups. So you can just add a little bit of crushed tortilla chips in here, or you can use chia seeds, add them a little bit more protein and fiber into your soups. And there's other options that you can use crushed chips as well. You can top it on top of your mac and cheese. You can maybe use it as a coating for like onion rings. There is multiple uses. You can use it as a crouton on your salads. It's all gluten-free, and it's delicious, and it adds nice crunch, texture, and flavor to your meals. Really good. Okay.
Hey, do you want to take any questions from
let's take some questions.
the audience? Who wants the power of the microphone? Any burning questions? You do. I saw that hand.
Oh, nice.
Are the
Hi.
tortilla chips gluten-free
The tortilla chip is gluten-free, yes.
and dairy-free?
Sorry?
And dairy-free?
Dairy-free. It is dairy-free. Yes, thank you for that question. So the question is tortilla chips gluten-free and dairy-free? Yes, it is. If you are lactose intolerant or you're celiac, you are safe to eat the tortilla chips. In fact, even this recipe, you're safe to eat this recipe too. Yes.
Any other questions out here? No, well, I have one if you don't mind.
Yes.
I'm going to have a little student-teacher moment with you.
Of course, yes.
I notice at certain points of the year, if I'm using tomatoes, if they're not in season,
Yes.
sometimes the flavor isn't that strong. So if I
No.
don't have salsa and I have tomatoes that aren't exactly bursting with flavor, what can I do?
Oh my gosh, you could do is you can roast the tomatoes as well. Maybe even like cut it up, add a little bit of salt, just like saute it or put them in the oven. It brings out some of that flavor, some of that sweetness as well. I find roasting really adds a lot of, brings out a lot of that sweetness from veggies or whatever that you're cooking.
And it's hands-off cooking time too,
And
so
it's hands-off
easy peasy.
cooking time. Yeah. A good question. Yes. All right. Okay. Does anybody know what que pasa mean in Spanish? Anybody? The lady in the back? What's up? Exactly. Que pasa? What's up? That is just a fun little brand that we have here. Que pasa? Okay. We're almost done. I think we're ready to serve up, unless there's any more questions. Yes.
What type of oil do you use for the que pasa?
We use sunflower and canola oil, organic though. Yes. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions? Okay, who's ready to eat? Okay, we're gonna have an army of us to distribute some of the soup right now, and we can actually. I'm gonna put some of the toppings, like I said, we have here. So I have some sour cream. I'm gonna grate some cheese for you, if those who are okay to have some dairy. And but I want to ask you some questions to give away some product. So I'm gonna
Have you guys been listening?
Yes, have you guys been listening? Okay. The first question, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to rely on you to kind of just, the first person to put your hand up, don't shout out the answer because you don't want to give away your product. Shoot up your hand, we're gonna give you the mic, and then if you get the answer right, you're gonna get our latest chips, okay? So what type of rock is used to grind our corn at Que Pasa? Oh my gosh, that was quick.
I'm going to leave the selection to you.
I was looking at the question. Okay, I felt like this lady on that. Okay, yes.
Volcanic rocks.
Correct. Yes. Woo. There you go. You get our purple
Congratulations.
corn chips. Okay.
Oh, these look good. I don't even have any time to
Okay, I'm
stash
gonna
these in my
make
bag.
sure I'm paying attention here. What year was Que Pasa founded? Okay.
They're too fast,
Oh my
I
gosh,
swear.
guys. I was trying my hardest to look.
In the
I felt like one of the ladies here in the front put up your hand quickly.
Put them up. Who wants it?
Are you guys together? Okay. Okay.
great.
So
1983.
correct. Okay, I'll give you my favorite black bean. There you go.
That's no sample size package either.
No, that's a nice one. We for those who didn't get a chance to get these products, we definitely have our booth over there. You can try all of the flavors over Que Pasa Chips. Okay, third question. Name 2 of our latest flavors that we have up here. 2. Okay, there's a lady over there.
Purple corn and black bean.
Correct! Hurrah! And then but then I'm going to give you our ancient grain. That's the third flavor. Okay, last and final question. I'm going to give you a bag of our red chips. Actually, maybe I'll try to make up another 3 more questions. What does Que Pasa mean? I know it's too easy. Okay, so this guy, I'll give you one too. What's up? Okay, I'll give it to you, and give that lovely lady that gave the answer original. I'll give you a blue bag. Oop. Okay, one final question. Thank you.
Not a problem.
I'm gonna have to make this one up. How many chip flavors are out there at Que Pasa? This lady in the purple? No. This lady no. This lady in the black? No. The fur lady in the purple? No. Yes. 9? No. What? Yes. There's 7. 7 chip tortillas.
We'd eventually get there.
Yes, this is a process of numbers. Okay, thank you so much for your time and spending it with us here. We have some delicious, spicy Que Pasa Tortilla Soups for you to try. Thank you so much. For the recipes, we also have some recipe cards here as well. And if we run out, we have some at our booth. Yep. Thank you.
All right, you guys put your hands together for Candice Macalino.